It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shot.
All right. ¿Qué onda, vatos locos? It's your boy Dave from the 408 coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. Joining me as always all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish, Drew Evo. What's poppin', homie? ¿Qué pasa?
What's up, Dave? How you doing?
How am I doing? I'm funny. You know what? Better late than never, bro. I'm appreciating the Ray Liotta tribute here, man. Let me know what you guys in the chat think with the Ray Liotta throwback over here, huh? With a couple of good fellas.
Did I say something funny or something? Do I look funny to you? Like Willie, just tell me. Did I say something funny?
Oh, man. Let me thank everybody who's just joining us already. The room is lighting up, and I appreciate that. Shoe Shine. Hey, where the party at? You tell me. Oh, shit. Boxing Vitals, thank you for coming through. Nando Lamas, JC, Chicano Prophet, Bella Bling, True Evo in the chat, too. Hey, I wasn't going to drink tonight, man. I'm like, no, I'm going to be cool, man. I'm not going to drink anymore because I tend to burp a lot, bro. But for this one, I'm going to drink a shot of Jim Beam for you, man. For this whiskey, I'm going to do a little whiskey shot because, oh, man. Drew, by the way, I love tiki bars, man. You know that?
Never been to one.
Never been to a tiki bar? They lit that bar up. If you remember Goodfellas, man. They made that dude sign over the bar, and then they lit that thing on fire. It was a nice tiki bar, too, man. They lit that shit up. You know who else got lit up this weekend is Rungvisai, if I got that right. The Thai fighter, the former world champion who knocked out El Chocolatito. Bro, he got lit up on DAZN this Saturday night. So let's get right to the good stuff, bro. All right, man. There was only one thing worth watching for us boxing fans this weekend, and it was the DAZN card, and it was going to be stacked. In fact, that before this weekend, something happened. That guy, Cesar Martinez, who we saw get beat up by Chocolatito, he had to pull out of that fight. So it went from 4 really good fights I was looking forward to. I think Raymond Ford was elevated to the main card to 3 pretty good, interesting fights, right, Drew? And we'll get to all 3 of them that I appreciated, man. But listen, we might as well get to the good stuff because everyone's already had a chance to say what they feel about this young special kid, Bam Rodriguez. And I appreciate that we have Sonteo Media in the room. If you want to call us, homie, the phone lines are open because I know you spend a lot of time in Robert Garcia's gym. And you've got to watch this kid grow up, Bam Rodriguez. Drew, give me your hot take on this kid's performance. Not only did he step up recently from 112 to 115 to take on Quadras for an opportunity for a title, he won that and he defended it against probably the biggest threat in that division is the guy who knocked out Chocolatito, a 35-year-old Thai veteran, a cagey former champion himself. Man, what's your take on this kid's performance?
It's good, some good-ass footwork. I'll be honest with you. Some of the best footwork I've seen from one of these little guys in a long time. Like it's some good shit, man. Like, he's only growing, too. But, you know, the verdict's still out on him. Yeah, he beat Rungvisai, the most hardest puncher in the division, but I don't know. Was it a bad night for Rungvisai? or was it just a real good night for Bam? That vote is only time would tell, But
Well,
that's
was it a really bad night for Quadras when he lost that opportunity? When he lost his title for Quadras, man, was it a bad night? Now we've got two potential. I don't think so, man. I think you're right. You nailed it, bro, because he is being compared to Lomachenko, which everybody who watches the Shoe Shy knows that Drew Evo likes some Lomachenko, right? You said
I like to drink too a little bit. Go to Irish pub.
Oh man, but you tell me about his footwork, man, because it is quite special. I know Santiago's seen it in development. This guy can move from side to side and throw these shots at angles that I've only seen Lomachenko be really good at, in recent memory.
Yeah, but here's the thing, now we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna see, the point that if you match him up with Chocolatito, I'm gonna say, oh, Bam's gonna destroy Chocolatito because Rungvisai beat Chocolatito, and it's not doesn't always go like that. Chocolatito could have an awesome night and beat Bam if that was to ever happen. Roy Jones, he had a good fight. He won a nemesis, Antonio Tarver, and other fighters everybody thought Bernard was going to get destroyed by Antonio Tarver. Bernard dominated him and was the first one to knock him down and everything. So that's why I said the verdict's still out.
The verdict is still out. Hey, Nando Lamas wants you to know Loma don't got the resume that Bam has already. Now that's funny. Oh,
that is funny.
I'm seeing a lot of these comparisons on Twitter, bro, about the resume. Yeah, he's got two really special, important wins. Bam Rodriguez does at 115 pounds, which only leads me to believe that he could clean out this division, man. Really, I don't. Chocolatito put in an amazing performance for a fighter of his age, demolishing little El Rey Martinez not too long ago, but I don't know. I'm kind of convinced that Bam Rodriguez is going to take care of the aging champion Chocolatito. I think he could, with the exception of his brother, Joshua Franco, who also is a belt title holder at 115, which complicates things for Bam becoming undisputed because really, Drew, it's like asking the Charlo brothers to fight each other at 154 pounds. It's not going to happen, right? Which is why I'm calling for it already. Right up there. Can Bam Rodriguez take on the monster Inoue? Tell me that kid Bam Rodriguez doesn't walk around heavy in between fights, because I've seen the pictures of him and he looks completely different in training camp and off drive. This kid balloons up, which is kind of like a lot of kids in the, inside that camp. They kind of balloon up.
Don't get that kid killed.
Don't get him killed.
Don't get him killed.
I'm not advocating that Bam Rodriguez is ready for Inoue now. But listen,
nowhere near ready for Inoue.
There's a lot of talk coming from him, okay, and his promoter that he should be moving down in weight to 112 pounds. And the only two people that I think of in that division is the WBC holder, which is Cesar Martinez, who didn't show up to fight, who was going to fight the Puerto Rican. He didn't show up to fight. And then you got Sonny Edwards, who fights for Pro Bellum. All right. Now we know what's going on with that Daniel Kinahan stuff and the U.S. putting restrictions. In fact, you told me last week, and I didn't even talk about it, that Tyson Fury is supposedly not allowed to come into the U.S. because of association with Daniel Kinahan. So Sonny Edwards is talking a lot of shit on Twitter, bro, saying there's a reason why this kid ducked me at 112. This is a reason why this kid moved up, because he thinks he's so damn special at 112 that he would beat Bam Rodriguez. What do you guys think? Have you guys paid attention to Sonny Edwards from the UK?
No, Sonny Edwards just looks like a little kid. Looks like a 5-year-old, if you want to ask me. But I tell you the truth, he's a boxer. He's a pure boxer. He doesn't really have a lot of knockouts. Do I see him beating Bam? No, I don't. Sonny Edwards never even fought anybody yet. The only guys he fought were the guys at his preschool and pre-K.
You know, at this weight class, yeah, these kids, the fighters look young. And Bam Rodriguez is the youngest champion in all of boxing at 22 years old. So he is special. Boxing Vital says Bam is the future of the division, though. I'm going to say he's the future of 115 and 118 pounds. There's a lot of people calling for the monster Inoue to move up from 118 to 122 to fight your boy from Philadelphia, Stephen Fulton. Everybody's calling for him to move up, right? Now, Bam Rodriguez did exactly that. He moved up in weight and is taking over the 115-pound division. So why can't I just presume now that 6 months from now, a year from now, 23, as he's growing into that body and that frame, that he won't be ready for the monster? I'm not entirely sure that the monster belongs at 122. So, with that being said, there's another guy who fought on the DAZN card this weekend, and he's the other part of the equation for Stephen Fulton, Drew. And I'm talking about Akhmadiliev, also known as MJ, all right, the former Olympian who holds 2 of those titles. And remember, MJ, he beat Danny Roman, who we just saw lose to Stephen Fulton. That's how he got his 2 belts. Stephen Fulton wants to unify. He wants to be undisputed. Is my boxing people in here in all favor of seeing undisputed at 122? That division is fire, Drew. Are you in favor of seeing these 2 people get it on?
There's 2 things. Is it a favor, or you in favor, or is it possible it's going to happen? Yeah, you can say I'm in favor of it, but it's not going to happen. It's DAZN. It's PBC. It's Eddie Hearn. It's Al Heyman. It's Showtime. It's DAZN. I'm not going to say no more shit because everybody gets the point.
Yeah, I know that because we've talked about this repeatedly about making fights between DAZN and PBC a reality. But for some reason, all of a sudden, Mr. Eddie Hearn says it's not a problem. He's coming out saying it's not a problem. MJ versus Fulton, he said it's not a problem. Now, when it comes to other fighters, all of a sudden they're going to fight over the split revenue or who's going to host a damn pay-per-view. But he says for this one, it's not a problem. So I hope it's true. By the way, did you guys catch Maestro's interview with Eddie Hearn? Shout out to Maestro for that interview with Eddie Hearn today at Yankee Stadium. Where was that, Drew?
What, New York?
Yeah, New York. Right there, out there promoting this.
Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. The fight that should have happened a couple years ago. Now I probably don't give 2 fucks about it.
Eddie Hearn standing at the home plate. That's right. As here we have Canelo Alvarez from Mexico with Gennady Golovkin at Yankee Stadium. A lot of people not too happy about them throwing out the first pitch, Drew. I think, why not, man? Manny Pacquiao's thrown out first pitch here for San Francisco Giants many a times.
Well, at least they'll probably win spots on the Kansas City Warriors.
Oh, man. And there's something going on with Canelo, bro. Today, I read that Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, they had that press conference last week, right? This press conference has started, right? And they're doing the media tour. And he called him a fucking asshole, right? And Gennady Golovkin's like, today he says, I don't understand why he's so upset at me. It's like relationships, right, Drew? You've been in relationships before where you don't understand why the other person's upset. That's what Gennady Golovkin's alleging. I don't know why he's so upset at me.
Yeah, but I clearly, when a girl's upset at me, I clearly don't give a fuck after 15 minutes of it. I move on. But now, I'm gonna be honest with you. To be honest, I have a lot of people. I have people upset at me, and I don't care if they're upset. I have people still upset at me on Twitter, on YouTube. Be honest, I clearly don't give a fuck because they probably it's that time in the month for some of those guys and some of those females that are mad, but who gives a shit?
You know who's not upset about your backdrop is Vito Spadafori.
I bet he isn't.
No, he said he likes it. He says he likes this backdrop. By the way, guys, again, if you didn't hear, I do have a phone line open. It's 702-710-3627. I appreciate everybody from the Vegas community that I'm a part of that group too. I appreciate it. All you guys been in here. If you guys want to call, say hello, you can. We're talking about all the fights that happened this weekend. We're talking about what's coming up in the summer. Just hit us up, man. Hit us up. We might get a call from some ladies, Drew. I know how much you like that.
Yeah. Maybe Wanda will call back in again.
Maybe who?
Wanda.
Rhonda. Oh my God, Drew's very confident here. Rhonda, we haven't had a Rhonda call our show.
What's that, Jessica?
We've had a Jessica. Yeah, we had a Jessica call. We never had a Rhonda call. Boxing Vital says GGG is a good boy. That's why Canelo's taking his frustration out on GGG, which might end up in a KO. There's like, I don't know what the odds are now, but they're starting to get a little tighter already, and it's a long way. September isn't that close. I mean, it's technically right around the corner, but I saw the price of the tickets, by the way. I believe they started at $700 for the nosebleeds. Yeah. If my mom's watching and wants to drop a comment, I want to know if my mom actually bought tickets to that, because she really wanted to go. She got to see the last fight. But damn, that's expensive. Nando says GGG is a phony and a snitch. Dude, Nando, call us. I don't know about the snitch allegation. What's going on with that? Is it all this mob talk here with Drew and the good fellas behind him? Now he's a snitch, man. You know who wasn't a snitch was Ray Liotta, bro. He didn't snitch in that movie. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. So I drifted off topic. I'm trying to get everyone to participate. Can Bam Rodriguez take on the monster Inoue? I say yes. I'm going to repeat that. I say that is a mega fight that I can't wait for happen. It's going to be a super fight if the promotional companies can get it together. I want to know if Santiago Media is in the chat. Let me know, what is the likelihood of Bam Rodriguez going to Japan and fighting somebody in Japan? We know that Gennady Golovkin just did it and won a title, right, Drew? And we know that they're a tremendous fan base, and we know that a lot of the smaller weight classes have Japanese champions. And if I'm not incorrect, I believe he had some kind of cross-promotional deal with Tekken, right? Tekken Promotions. Is that correct? I don't know. Let me know. But that would be interesting to see Bam Rodriguez fight maybe someone at 112 in Japan and build up towards a fight with the monster Inoue. Because like someone here in the chat was saying earlier, this kid is chasing greatness. He's chasing greatness and legacy at the age of 22. And I can ask for him to fight the monster Inoue, but on his time. And Drew, what's your opinion? Is Inoue moving up to 122 eventually?
Yeah, and reminds me of the game I played, Tekken. Yeah, one of my favorite games. But yeah, he's probably moving up to 122 eventually. Like, there's more belts to be won. He'll probably do it for legacy.
All right. Well, we talked about MJ a little bit. MJ at 122 is going to go on to potentially fight, we hope. He'll get this unification for Undisputed with your boy, Stephen Fulton. All right. But shout out to Ronnie Rios from California, man. Ronnie Rios apparently was driving Uber not too long ago. This is a guy who's, world-class fighter and didn't do so bad. Eventually, he was knocked out in the 12th round stoppage. But man, these guys, he gave him a good fight, bro. He gave him a good fight. Today, I was doing some research and forgot that MJ's loss at the Olympics, Drew, was to Mick Conlan. Did you know that? Mick Conlan?
Yeah.
Your Irish boy?
Yep.
Mick Conlan just suffered one of the most devastating KO losses of the year that I've ever seen, in a tremendous fight that I'll probably go back at the end of this year and say was a potential fight of the year candidate as far as the dramatics, the way it ended. But MJ lost to Mick Conlan. But he says he's much better as a pro, man. So he thinks he likes his odds against Mr. Fulton in Philadelphia. That is a fight I hope to see. Boxing Vitals, let me know something here. I think Bam is promoted by Tekken and Matchroom, so there's a cross-promotional deal. And if you didn't know about this today, Drew, Bam Rodriguez signed a new multi-year deal extension with Matchroom Boxing and DAZN, man. So they will be trying to figure out how to keep making money off this kid. And he's selling tickets, bro. He sold a lot of seats in San Antonio, Texas. So he's got a real promising future. Now, Drew, you and I are friends. We've been friends with this retired fighter. He wasn't retired when we started the Shoe Shine, when we used to just do our show on Periscope. Francisco Esparza from Las Vegas. He was signed with Golden Boy. Then he had he went over to Top Rank for a few fights. He actually fought the night I saw Shakur Stevenson win his featherweight title in Reno, Nevada. That was his last fight. If you guys don't know his story, we had him here on the show. He had to retire from boxing after getting some negative news about some MRI scans that showed some very, potentially dangerous stuff. So he hung up the gloves, and I think it was a really wise choice, Drew, as we've seen a lot of people succumb to injuries in the sport of boxing and even deaths. So my boy Francisco Esparza had the opportunity of a lifetime last year when he got to train Alma Ibarra, who had just come off a tremendous Ring City, USA performance. I believe it was Lou DiBella and Alma Ibarra's manager said they were looking for somebody in Las Vegas that train her for a WBC eliminator. That's how she got into this position to fight Jessica McCaskill, the undisputed champion, 147-pound champion in women's boxing. Alma Ibarra earned her way through a tremendous performance on a card that Lou DiBella put on. Now, when I was just in Vegas recently to see Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, I ran into him, and I was very excited because she had been offered step-aside money recently so Jessica McCaskill could get this performance on DAZN, which was just a few months back. And I said, bro, I'm so excited for you. I hear that your fighter is finally going to get her shot for Undisputed. And then he told me, regrettably, bro, if you know her story, she's got a child with special needs, and she does not want to come to Vegas to train for this fight. Despite having an amazing performance with our boy Francisco Esparza, she chose to stay in Mexico because of her special needs child to train in her hometown. I don't need to explain to everyone who didn't see it. If you didn't see the fight, she quit on the stool. That's what it's literally sounded like. She said, I want to go home. I'm done. I want to go home. And her corner threw in the towel. I don't know what was in her head. She wasn't in the right frame of mind to even come into the ring, Drew. I mean, she was just short of getting knocked out for good, right? But can somebody here please argue that was not like a Jessica McCaskill world-class performance, man? She came out with pretty much like a raging bull and caught her with some good shots, and that was enough to make the girl quit. It was embarrassing, right?
Yep. Embarrassing.
I've even seen people on Twitter put up old no mas. You remember Duran quit famously in one of his biggest fights of his life, and he said no mas, and they compared it to that. I don't know why you would quit on the stool. We don't know what was going on in her mind, but her health, maybe whatever was going on in her mind, it wasn't a good look. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to get my boy to come on the show, but I understand maybe he's not feeling good about the whole situation, even though he was a former trainer of her. It says here, Boxing Vital says, unfortunately, Alma didn't do well. She ended up not getting off the stool. She said, I don't want to die in the ring. I want to be able to go home to my son. Yeah, I think that's exactly what was going on, Drew. She was getting a whooping from Jessica McCaskill, who was showing to be the world champion that she is. It wasn't her night, and it looks like she quit on the stool. Well, you know what? In some situations, if you think you're going to get knocked out unconscious, maybe that was the right thing to do. I cannot put myself in her shoes. The other scary story, if you didn't know about her, was that she was once kidnapped, which was one of the reasons why my friend Francisco Esparza chose not to go down to Mexico in her town, because she's a former kidnapping. I'm not laughing about that, bro. She was a former kidnap victim who was held up for ransom. Truly, truly frightening shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the last place you want to go when you're an American citizen and you may have a family with money and there's people in town ready to kidnap people. So I defend him wholeheartedly for choosing not to go down there to train her. I hope it's not the end of Alma's career. She seems to be a great person. We will see. For Jessica McCaskill, Drew, are you hearing about her moving up and down in weight?
Probably down to 140 and try to fight Shantae. How his name is? I don't know. I forget her name.
Yeah, it sure does. And by the way, I really thought that the Alma Ibarra's height and reach advantage was going to serve her well. It did nothing. And Jessica McCaskill is pretty small for 147 pounds. If she thinks confidently she can go down to 140 for a bigger challenge than defending her 4 titles at 147, I'm all for it. I am all for it. Chicano Prophet says, I am always paranoid when going to Mexico. Where in Mexico? TJ? The titty bars? Crickets. I'm just playing, guys. That was a bad joke. No, serious, very serious. Oh, you got to be careful, man. We have to be careful. All right, guys. All right, so what's next, Drew, on the agenda? There's some upcoming fights, some great fights that I'm looking forward to. Some of them are not that great. Some of them are. Here's a pay-per-view coming up. We were talking about PBC. Ruiz Jr. versus Luis Ortiz. Do you know how old Luis Ortiz is?
43.
43. On paper, he's 43, but I'm telling you, dude, I'm not sure who's doing these promotional flyers, bro, but they look a lot older. In fact, Andy Ruiz, too, bro. He looks like he's getting a little weight in his face, too. And, you know, Ortiz, I heard he's as old as 50, but we're probably going to have to pay for this one.
God damn.
Yeah,
You know what? Andy Ruiz looks a lot like Vito.
It looks like Vito Spadafore. He looks like a good fella to you. Yeah, he does, man. He looks like a guy.
Vito,
looks like a guy you'd call tiny or something. Like he'd be tiny, huh?
He probably lost the weight with security guard.
Hey, where the party at says, "Damn, the guy's a cougar." Is that can you be a male cougar? Is that such a thing? You know, also, you know, you were talking about that caller, that female caller who's very excited. We're not going to do a preview to it yet, but the Ryan Garcia fight versus Javier Fortuna is right around the corner. And Oscar De La Hoya, hey, anytime somebody comes out that's not signed to Oscar and puts on an incredible performance, you know, an incredible performance. And in case, you know what, you think we'll get busted for this clip, dude?
We probably will.
Yeah, I shouldn't play it, huh? Because it's the zone. But this was off some other guy's Twitter page. I don't want to get caught putting anything on this from the zone up here, but I want to, but I don't want to get strike. Anytime somebody else's fighter does spectacular, Oscar's got to come out of the woodworks and throw his salt in the game and talk about his guys and his fighters like this right here. All right, this one is for Jessica Garcia, okay? It's funny how all these fighters who are world champions, who have more experience, they all want to be like Ryan Garcia. They all want followers. They all want a big social media presence. Ryan Garcia has it, and now all he needs is a world title. Yeah, okay. So he had to drop his 2 cents in over the weekend, okay, about his guy, his fighter. Nando says, those Ryan tickets are expensive. Why are they so freaking expensive, dude? They should be on one of those discount brokerages. So girls like Jessica Garcia can take all their friends and go watch Ryan at the Staples Center or wherever the hell they're fighting. Hey, where the party at says, I'd like to see Oscar fight again. Well, it was just last year that Oscar claimed he was coming back to boxing. He was in the best shape of his life. And then he mysteriously got COVID and was in the hospital. And then, you know, it was like Oscar was in the hospital. Then Ryan Garcia was taking hospital pictures. I don't know which one did it. Who wore it better of the two? I don't know. They were both in the hospital last year taking selfies in the hospital. All right. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. So another fight I wanted to talk about real quick. Danny Garcia from Philadelphia versus Jose Benavidez at 154. Drew, is it time for your boy from Philadelphia to hang him up? He's had a tremendous career, but he says at 154 he is going to be a stud again, man, that he is going to do something special here.
I never know. Like, it is a live division, so I don't know. Can't say right now, too. Is Jose Benavidez in actual junior middleweight?
You know what? This guy's fought as high as 160. I think his best weight was 147 when he fought Bud Crawford. But he'll fight anywhere, dude. But after that shooting, when he sustained a shooting injury to his calf, man, he's never been the same. So this to me is totally home PBC cooking. They're trying to make our boy from Philadelphia look good and be a contender at 154. That remains to be seen. We don't know what he's got left in the tank, bro. But there's also been, some other news I wanted to drop real quick that you mentioned to me is the fact that and this goes with Robert Garcia, but Robert Garcia's baby brother, man, Mikey Garcia is retired from the sport of boxing, announced it on Instagram very quietly.
You know, we should really made this guy already. Like, what a hell of a career for Mikey Garcia. Just to lose to a fucking nobody at the end.
Boxing Vital says, not a fight anyone wants to see. Danny has been so inactive. He's been active showing up at the fights. He's going to give it one more go at 154. He thinks, and he's been telling the press, that he thinks he can go on a championship run at 154. Of course, we all know undisputed Charlo. Does he measure up against Charlo? We're going to find out, man. We're going to find out. And Mikey Garcia, a tremendous career, bro. But after last year being decimated by Sandor Martin, not decimated, but outboxed, almost, he looked outclassed at 140 pounds in Fresno.
We're not going to sugarcoat it. He looked like shit.
It didn't look good. He didn't look good. And Sandor Martin looked like he was some kind of world-class fighter, a guy who had never seen fight from Spain. He boxed perfectly in Fresno on that night. Chicano Prophet says, I'm glad Mikey is done. He was pimping out the Mexican fan base. Bro, was he? This is interesting, Drew, that Mikey Garcia is retired because we know that his brother, Robert Garcia, is now Anthony Joshua's head trainer. And Anthony Joshua promises, and Robert Garcia promises that he's going to bring a new level to Anthony Joshua's game. There's an old cat named Teddy Atlas that said today that the root of Anthony Joshua's problems is that he's too fucking wealthy. That's it. That's his problem. He's too wealthy. He's not hungry anymore. He's got it made. He's got so much money in the UK with his endorsement deals, his sponsorships, his Hollywood-like career in the UK that he ain't hungry for it anymore. And a lot of people remember that Mikey Garcia made a career high payday against Spence in that pay-per-view. He's not shy about showing all the fancy things he's bought, from fancy mansion with a big lot, and acreages and toys and fancy cars. Is it money that made these guys not be hungry anymore?
You know what? I don't really think that it's him not being hungry anymore. It's just him actually going into a fight against a better fighter. All-around better fighter, in my opinion. Like the Joshua, the loss to Luis, he got put back in reality. But see how he won the second fight with that. But against Usyk, it was a flat out better fighter than him all around. And this fight's gonna show again that Usyk's the better fighter when Usyk stops him. And just like Mikey Garcia is already, AJ might head towards retirement quietly into the sunset.
Very interesting. Hey, shout out to Boxing Vitals from Fresno. Shout out to everybody from Fresno. I was at that fight, obviously, in my backyard in Fresno, the Mikey Garcia fight, I'm supposing, versus Sandor Martin. Mikey didn't do well, but he's done well for himself. And then Long Live Boxing, shout out to them and their great show. Says Mikey Garcia made $12 million in just 2 fights. Shout out to him, LOL. Boxing is a brutal, brutal, dangerous sport. And truly, I mean, if you want to walk away from the sport with all your faculties and you've made enough money, then I can't hate on that, man. I'm not going to hate on that. We got 510 on the phone lines real quick. See if this is our boy Nando. All right, 510, you were on the Shoe Shine.
Hey, what's up, Dave? What's up, Drew? How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. You sound great, man. You got a new phone line?
Oh, no, because I call you guys like on my stupid AirPods, and they sound like crap, man. I just called you on the phone right now, so.
Well, at least you can say something sounds like crap.
Yeah, man, talk to us. Well, what'd you think of this weekend's fight, Bam Rodriguez?
Hey, Bam, man, he convinced me, dude. I like to be a little bit of a skeptic with the fighters when they're first starting off because, like, a lot of times, dude, like the media, they'll hype these guys up before they even fight anybody, right? So as a fan, I try to be a little bit skeptical just so I don't, go overboard sometimes. But he really impressed me over the weekend, man. Like I'm fully on board with Bam right now. I think that was an impressive victory. And to be honest, I would like to see him stay at 115, man, because there's some historic fights that are available to him right now at 115 that may not be available next year. Chocolatito, or El Gallo, they may not be around next year, So I like to see Bam get those fights right now, man. Because if he beats all those guys at 115, those legends, me personally, I'd have to put him in there with Salvador Sanchez, man, as far as a young, great Mexican champion, man.
Yeah, it's come unexpected, right? Because he came up from 112 to 115, and he's already destroyed two of like the greatest. I mean, there was a run of champions, and now they're all aging like Chocolatito. And all he has to do now is beat Chocolatito and Estrada, and he's basically cleaned out the division. But where does that leave his brother, Franco, Joshua Franco, who's also at 115, who's supposed to fight Estrada? I mean, where does, I don't know. Is that why he's talking about going down to 112? Clearly, he's going to beat the crap out of everyone at 112 and possibly 115. And I have a very strong desire to see that Chocolatito fight between him and Bam and not Joshua Franco. So I agree with you, man. But you got any opinion about Mikey Garcia retiring? I've enjoyed his career from 126 to 140, a world champion in many weight divisions, 4 to be exact. Any thoughts on him calling it quits?
I was a big fan of Mikey initially, right? But little by little, he kind of just disappointed me and disillusioned me. I think he was basically strictly paper chasing, like we say out here in the Bay Area, man. For the last like 5 or 6 years of his career, like just going for the paydays, man, and not really for any big fights, And PBC kind of used him as a jabroni, They used him as a jabroni versus Spence, and it's a waste of a career, man. That was exactly what I was calling in. If you guys look at his record, his resume, is he a Hall of Famer? That's my question for both you and Drew.
Well, Nando, you gonna have to sugarcoat it. He pimped you out like the other Mexican fans he did, as Chicano would say. So what the fuck about that? But is he a Hall of Famer?
If it's easy, homie, you don't know nothing about that.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
He's giving it a lot of thought.
Hell no, he's not a Hall of Famer. I'll tell you the truth. I don't even have him in the top 100 of all-time greats. And that's a shame. And it's true though. He's not 100. He's not a top 100 all-time great fighter. He isn't. Like when there was fights, the big fights that were being discussed for him, they always fall apart. Like who's the best name he's beaten on his resume?
Orlando Salido. Just one of them.
And who's the best guy he fought, even though he lost to him, or Spence? But the way that he showed up against Or Spence, he didn't want to fucking win. He didn't even do shit in that way.
The way he was waving his glove in between rounds like he was actually doing something, it was embarrassing, dude. It was embarrassing, man.
So,
well, Nando,
you know what? I was at his last fight in Fresno, too. I was at his last fight in Fresno, and that was embarrassing, too, man. I wanted a refund.
Oh, you went to that one too?
Yep.
Like I don't know. I might get some heat for saying he's not an all-time great, but who gives a shit?
Well, I gotta ask both of you because Nando, you didn't ask me, but it's a great question you're asking. If Adrian Broner is worthy of being in the Hall of Fame, then surely Mikey Garcia must as well, because Adrian Broner essentially went and cherry picked his way up, collecting all these titles. And he collected 4 of them in 4 different weight classes as well. And he can also say, I did it at much younger age than Mikey Garcia. He holds that over him. So essentially, I'd have to vote them both in if I vote either of them in, right? They both have to go in based on merit. But
here's the thing. I still would give Broner the edge because he beat better fighters than Mikey Garcia. If you look at it, you can see that he cherry picked, but he did beat better fighters than Mikey Garcia. If you want to look at it like that, but
I'm looking at Mikey's record. The best win is an older Orlando Salido or Sergey Lipinets, right? But these guys are all like journeymen, man. You guys are all journeyman fighters that happen to like stumble upon a world title. These guys weren't. None of these guys he beat are ever going to be mentioned anywhere near the Hall of Fame, And I think that's part of the reason how you get into the Hall of Fame, be other great fighters, man. Not journeying with titles, man, and lose a lot of fights on top of it, dude. I mean, he's had a mixed career. I was rooting for him early on. Good looking guy, kind of guy, that you get behind, but at the end, man, he's been disappointing for a very long time, man. Just a very long time. Just got disappointed with him. And that last fight was just brutal, man. That was just like no way to go out like that, man. I mean, that fight and the fight with Errol Spence were just embarrassing.
But you know what else was embarrassing, bro? Was watching that they held this event at a soccer field or minor league baseball field where the grass wasn't even growing. That was kind of a
yeah.
Well, gotta admit, Mikey Garcia does not look as good as me.
I got to see Bam fight. That was good. I got to see Bam fight, so that was kind of cool.
Nah, no, I'm not throwing any shade on Rick Mariagon. I think he does a great job with all the fighters on his roster. So shout out to Rick Mariagon of Fresno, California, great manager. Boxing Sin City Syndicate says Mikey Garcia, an all-time great. I don't even have him top 1,000. Shit, Sin City Syndicate really. But Drew, this one was for you from Chicano Prophet, and he says, remember, Drew, Mikey Garcia also ducked Lomachenko.
He probably did. I don't know. Like, I tell you the truth, it's just like he had an opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao. He had an opportunity to fight Lomachenko. He had an opportunity to fight this guy, to fight that guy. And what happens? They all dissolve.
Wait, if you read Boxing News 24 today, one of my favorite, not that they're the best publication for boxing news, but they said this author says he thinks Mikey Garcia with a correct fitness and nutrition could get down to 135 again and give all these guys a run for their money. Yeah, I don't know about that, man.
That ain't happening.
It's been too long of a lapse. But at 135 pounds, there was a lot of missed opportunities on some fantastic fights. Like you said, Chicano Prophet, he did miss out on an opportunity to fight Lomachenko. This one makes me laugh from Sin City Syndicate as well. Shout out to Mikey Garcia donating his merchandise to Goodwill in Southern California. I picked up one of his brand new hoodies for $3. Yikes.
You want to know another thing that really fucked his career up?
What's that?
When he went through that 2.5 year inactivity for trying to get out of his contract with Bob Arum.
That did mess him up. And a lot of fighters have gone through that exact scenario where they wanted out with Bob Arum. There's got to be some shit I would love to talk to a fighter and their struggles of getting out of their contract with Bob. Bud Crawford, the most recent one. Yeah, you're right. He wasted a lot of time. He gained a lot of weight too, sitting on the sidelines, which doesn't help any fighter in their prime.
And you know what? Shout out to the Goodwill store to show sold that Sin Syndicate that fucking hoodie for $3.
All right, hey Nando, I appreciate the call, man. We're gonna wrap up the show.
Hey, thank you.
I appreciate it, man. That's Nando from the 510. Great caller as always. Hey Drew. No, I don't like that song. Let's go with this one. No, I don't like that one either. All right, here we go. Time to wrap up the shoe shine. By the way, Drew, 4th of July is right upon us, man. So Monday is a holiday. So I want to thank everybody who has chimed in and the chat and hit the like button and is a subscriber. I do appreciate that. Please, if you haven't hit subscribe and notifications, do that so you find out when we're going to go live next week. Because Drew, I'm telling you right now, I got something planned on Monday night and you should too, because it's 4th of July and everybody should be out with their family enjoying the 4th of July and watching the fireworks. So I think the shoe shine will get together maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'll work that out with Drew for next week. There's some boxing this weekend, Drew, and it's UK heavyweights. I can't wait for this Anthony Joshua matchup with Usyk. But Joe Joyce is fighting this weekend, bro, in a WBC eliminator against Christian Hammer. Joe Joyce is the only, he beat the crap out of Dubois. He knocked out Dubois. I think he broke the guy's eye socket, right? And Dubois is looking good in his eliminator. I think Joe Joyce is going to take this guy out. It's a full stacked UK card. I think on BT Sports and ESPN Plus. If you got ESPN Plus, make sure you check that out because Joe Joyce, the Olympian, Drew, when Anthony Joshua drops out from boxing, according to you, Usyk is going to do the same and run a number on him. When Anthony Joshua hangs up the gloves, Joe Joyce will be there to take up his mantle as the next in line, in my opinion, at a world title opportunity. Because we know right now, your boy, Tyson Fury, says he hasn't made up his mind if he's retired or not. Retired or not, man. How do you see this fight playing out? Joe Joyce versus Christian Hammer.
I don't know why we even picking this shit. We already know Christian Hammer's gonna get knocked the fuck out.
With that,
And everything. He's just a fucking name that they just wanted to bring up. Say, hey, Christian, you wanna make a couple $100,000? Get knocked out by Joey Joyce real quick? You don't have to bag bags for a couple months at a supermarket, but.
Hey, shout out to Little Penny. I haven't seen Little Penny in here in a long time. I appreciate you coming by. He says, Inoue will probably be undisputed at 118 in 2022, and then we'll move up to 122 in 2023. And I appreciate that all these fighters are trying to go for undisputed. We're living in a fantastic era of boxing. For a while, people were just saying, boxing's dead, boxing is dead. All of a sudden, we've got all the new blood taking over, Drew, and going for greatness, trying to become undisputed, collect all 4 titles at once.
I want to get ahead of myself on that one.
Ooh, you don't think so, huh?
I will not get ahead of myself on this one. All this bullshit that goes on in boxing still. And like all these, like, tell you the truth, you can't blame it on the other guys, but you gotta blame, like, sometimes you gotta blame it on fans too, because some fans take so fucking retarded.
I heard that, man. Drew, any final thoughts on this past weekend and next weekend?
Number one, to answer somebody's question, who's better looking, Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya? Neither. I look better than both of them. That's a stupid question, by the way, but thank you for asking the question. Number two, Nando, don't say no guy's better looking again, unless it's Drew, unless it's me. But number three, I ain't doing shit on 4th of July. I'm probably just gonna stay in the house, chill, not give a flying fuck about what's going on outside, and that's it.
I heard that. Hey, last weekend, Drew, I was kind of funky. I had talked to you guys about that a YouTube friend of mine had caught a shooting on tape in Las Vegas, and I was really bummed out because a 23-year-old lost his life. I want to give a shout out to my friend, a former NFL player who had a charity. He runs his own YouTube channel, and he raised money with the half-brother of the shooting victim for their GoFundMe page. So shout out to Derek Ware of the Arizona Cardinals and Dallas Cowboys. They caught the murderer, Drew, that I was talking about last week. It took them just 6 days. They caught the kid. He was 16 years old, man. Please, come on, y'all. Do a better job parenting, man. Watch what your kids are doing. 16 years old, out on Vegas Strip with a firearm shooting at people. Come on, man. Do better. Do better, everybody. The rest of you that are doing great, congrats. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for sure, man. I appreciate everybody that watches the Shoe Shine. Me and Drew will be back next week. Make sure you hit the notification. For now, thank you very much. Stay blessed, guys. Check you guys out next week. Peace.